Health is a blessing. The longer you live, the more important your health is. And many of us sabotage our own health by not even realizing what we're doing. My name is Bob Christador, and I'm with Balanced Life Team. I'm going to take you on a journey, but it could very well be your journey. If you're retiring or thinking of changing your time allotted to your job, do you have a plan on how you're going to use that time? What I'm suggesting to you is make health job one. So the program is about making you aware of how you currently act today, subconsciously, routinely, without thinking, like brushing your teeth, making your bed, if you do that, drinking, having breakfast, whatever you do routinely without thought is where we start making you aware. Are those routine things that you do supporting your goals or sabotaging your goals? So we start with awareness. Once you become aware, then you're empowered to make adjustments. Will you? That's what we're going to teach you how to do. So when we're done with the process, we're going to make you aware. We're going to empower you to make those changes. We're going to motivate you to not only make them, but want to make them, so that at the end of the process, you now have new routines that support your life goals. And the people who influenced me, Joe Pinella, got me started. Eric Edmeades, who helped me understand what I was eating wasn't necessarily supportive of my health and wellness goals. Caitlin Louise and Elena Love, who provided recipes and ways to take this newfound information that I have and turn it into a way to eat every day. And Denise Steffen on where to shop, how to shop, what to buy for the ingredients that goes into those recipes. Now, all those people are going to be part of a course, and that course is called the 90-Day Evolution. I'm hopeful you'll consider taking part of it with us, and it's for anyone that is really interested in changing their health trajectory.
Hi, my name is Eric Edmeades. I'm the founder of WildFit, and I'm glad you're watching this video, because what that means is that one of our coaches or one of our clients has said, hey, let's share a little bit about WildFit with you. So what I want to do is share a bit of my personal story and how it is that I came to start this company and how it is that we've gone on to help thousands and thousands of people in over 20 countries around the world. Frankly, it starts with me being sick. In the early 1990s, I was living in Vancouver, Canada, and I was routinely sick. In fact, I hadn't been able to breathe through my own sinuses for like almost a decade. I'd been to see specialists and doctors, and I'd had prescriptions and pills and creams and inhalants for all these different issues that I was suffering from cystic acne to chronic throat infections, sinus infections, and so on. And I got to the stage one day where I was so frustrated, I went to go see one last specialist, and he said to me, the answer is we cut out your tonsils. And I was like, great, get them out. Like, if that's what the problem is, get them out. And luckily for me, about a week later, I sat down with some friends. I told them what I'd been going through, and they suggested to me that I take a slightly different view of my relationship with food. That maybe there were some foods that maybe I'd want to, take a little bit of a break from, or there are other foods that I'd want to add in. And I really thought they were crazy. I mean, I really did, because frankly, I was eating well. I mean, sure, I occasionally went out for some fast food, or I'd have a little bit of dessert here or there, but so did everybody. And that's how I've been brought up. And that's frankly what we've been taught in school. So I wasn't particularly unhealthy, but these friends of mine had a lot of credibility in my life, and I decided to try and experiment just 30 days. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks into my 30-day experience, I woke up one morning and I breathed in through my sinuses for the first time in years. I want you to think about this. I'm not sure if you've ever had that cold or that flu where you've been all blocked up and then one morning you breathe in and you realize it's beginning to end. The air crosses up over your sinuses and it feels fantastic. Well, it was like that for me, only it had been years since air had passed in through my nose. And as good as it felt, it also hurt a little bit because the tissue just wasn't used to it. And then you know something else I noticed when I got up that morning? I went over to the mirror and I looked in it and I realized that I had no new acne. You know, for anybody who's ever suffered with acne, you know there's two kinds. There's old and new. The old are the pox that are healing, and the new are the ones that are pushing up through the skin. And there were no new ones. 2 weeks later, I had completed my 30-day experience, and everything about me had changed. I'd lost about 35 pounds or 15 kilograms, and all of my symptoms were gone. I was breathing fine. All of my allergies were gone. I was completely transformed. Previously, I'd been having stomach cramps that were so painful to me that I couldn't even think. They were gone. And you know what happened to me at that point? I became really frustrated and curious. Frustrated as to how I could go and visit doctors and specialists for almost 10 years and get no results, and also curious as to how it is that they couldn't help me to get those results, because the more I thought about it, the more I realized it's not that they didn't want to help me, it's that they didn't know how. That made me really, really puzzled. Now, at the same time, I had a couple of other things going on. You know, as it turned out, I'd found out that my great-grandfather had found the oldest Homo sapien skull in the history of Earth at that time. And so I'd always had this really deep fascination with human history and evolution and natural selection and such. And then also, I went to a seminar by Tony Robbins. And I found something about that seminar that really intrigued me. You see, I'd worked in a sales organization for a long time, and they'd brought lots of motivational speakers to us. And those motivational speakers motivated us and always made us feel good. But then on Monday, when we had to go back to work, we were the same old person we were on Friday. The motivation didn't last. The difference was when I went to go and see Tony Robbins speak, when I went to work the following Monday, I was actually a different person. I made more calls. I was more effective. I was a better salesperson. There was something about the way that he spoke that actually transformed something inside me. And what ended up happening was I took this incredibly powerful curiosity I had about healthcare and the incredible fascination I had with human history and this fascination I developed about how to create real transformation in people, and I created WildFit. It kind of started like this. I was speaking with a doctor one day. Actually, I even had this conversation with my uncle. I've had this conversation with many doctors. My uncle, for example, was an orthopedic surgeon, which means he went to medical school for a very long time. I remember sitting at the table with him and I said, "Hey, how long did you go to medical school?" And I can't remember now, but it was like 10 years or so. And I said, "In the 10 years that you're in medical school, how much time did you spend studying food?" And I'm not kidding you. He cocked his head to one side, you know, like a dog does when it's confused. Huh? And he goes, "None." And in that moment, he realized the significance of the question, that he was a medical doctor, a specialized surgeon, and he never studied food. And I've asked that question of doctors all over the world, and the answer is almost always none, unless, of course, they've taken an elective. If they've taken an elective course, then maybe they got a little bit of training in nutrition. And so one day, having combined these three fascinations of mine together, a bunch of my clients asked me if I could help them achieve the results that I had achieved. And so I took 8 people and I put them in a class together, and I took them through a 3-month process. I took them through a 3-month process that combined some really powerful ideas about behavioral change and nutritional upgrade. And by combining those two things and taking them through a very careful week-by-week structure, here's something funny I found out. That after only 3 or 4 weeks of a 3-month test, they were telling me that they felt that they would never, ever, ever go back to their old way of being. That this wasn't a diet, but that they'd actually changed their lifestyle, that they'd changed their relationship with food, that they'd begun to feel free of many of the foods that they weren't free of before. At the end of the 90 days, every single one of them reported wholesale transformation in their health and in their relationship with food. So I thought, well, I'll do it again, because there's no way you get 100% in the diet world. To be clear, the way the diet world works now is that on the average person gains 3 pounds every time they go on a diet. That's the way it works. The entire industry is based on failure. Think about it. If there was ever one really true, solid diet book that really worked, there wouldn't be any other diet books. And so I was really fascinated by this whole idea that 8 people, 8 for 8, had gotten the transformation. So we did it again. And then I did it again. And it kept working. So then we started offering it to our coaching clients in our Business Freedom Academy. We started saying, well, look, if you want to have all the energy you need to have to really run a business successfully and spend lots of time with your family and frankly live a long time at a high quality of life, let's talk about health. And so our business clients started taking the WildFit Challenge, and holy, the transformation we saw was incredible. We're talking about people that were like turning around type 2 diabetes, ending like inflammation they've been suffering with for decades. Of course, getting rid of allergies just like I had, and of course, losing weight was a very common thing. We were seeing all kinds of almost miraculous results. And so then we had a problem, because as our clients started getting all these results, their friends were saying, how did you do that? And then they were trying to go to our website, but it wasn't a company. It was just a hobby. It was just something I was doing as a kind of favor for our business clients. And we had about 150 clients a year that were coming through if they were at one of our live events, and they would sign up and they would do it. But now we were getting demand online. People were wanting to buy it. So we put up a website where people could buy it. And then one day, one of our clients, a guy by the name of Paul Sheely, he's an author in the United States. He did the program with his wife, Libby, and they got such good results that they then decided that they would tell their clients about it. And remember, I'd said we were doing about 150 clients a year, just little hobby business. Suddenly, like 200 people signed up in a week. It was incredible. A year's worth of business in a week with no marketing. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then a couple of weeks later, another friend of mine, Colin Sprague, he told his network about it. And then another 150 people signed up in a couple of days. It was incredible. Like, here's this business that was just happening to us. Then a guy by the name of Vishen Lakhiani did the program. You might be familiar with Vishen. He's the founder of Mind Valley. He did the program, transformed his body and his relationship with food so much that he posted pictures of himself online. And that week, over the next 2 weeks or so, 1,100 people signed up for WildFit. Well, of course, in the meantime, since that happened, we've had thousands and thousands of people doing this program in over 20 countries around the world. And the reason is because it really, really works. And what I want you to know is that this is not about you taking a bunch of supplements. This is not about you exercising off the calories. And speaking of calories, this is not about you counting points or counting calories. This is about us helping you create a new relationship with food, creating a new consciousness so that right now, maybe there are some foods you wish you didn't like as much as you do. Maybe we can change that. Right now, maybe there are some foods you wish you liked a little more than you do. Maybe we can change that. Maybe we can get to a place where you really, really have a new relationship with food. One day, one of the founders of Zumba did our program. I don't know if you're familiar with Zumba. I imagine you are, as it's one of the most famous fitness brands in the world. And when he did the program, he booked a meeting with me. And in the meeting, he said, Eric, I am really amazed by what you've done. The whole world is out there trying to find a diet they can stick to, and what you've done is created a health program that sticks to them. He said, I think you're about to do to the diet industry what Zumba did to the fitness industry, and I'd love to help you make it happen. And so one day, sitting down with him for a meeting, we started talking about what the brand promise was for WildFit. Like, what is WildFit really about? You know, if Coca-Cola says they're about happiness, and if Harley-Davidson can be about rebellion and irreverence, then what is WildFit? And I said to him, I think it's about freedom. It's ultimately about freedom. And we had that conversation. The very next morning, he and I and our president, Andrea, were sitting having breakfast in a hotel. And a guy walked out of the cafeteria, out of the buffet. He walked out of the buffet, walked up to the table. He recognized me, and he walked up and he said, Eric, I got to thank you. Now, this happens to me from time to time, but until now, mostly it was about business, right? You know, no, this was different though. This was different. He came up and he goes, I got to thank you. And I said, what for? And he said, my freedom. Jeffrey and Andrea and I all looked at each other, each one of us suspecting that the other one had put this guy up to this. Like, did you do that? Did you do? No, the guy had simply walked up and said, I want to thank you for my freedom. And so Jeffrey said to him, wait, what exactly do you mean by freedom? And he goes, I'll tell you. He said, I walked through the breakfast buffet this morning and I got out to the other side of it. And I realized that they didn't have any cookies and donuts and croissants and stuff in the buffet. And I thought, that can't be right. They must have had them. And so I turned back around and I looked in, and there they were. But I hadn't even seen them because I just don't see them as food anymore. I feel free of them. And that's really what this is all about. And so I want to suggest to you that it might be a super fun experience for you to try out how the WildFit Challenge works and see what happens with your relationship with food. If you're interested in having more energy, if you're interested in not having that 2, 3, 4 o'clock lag in the day, if you're interested in improving your cognition and your memory, if you're interested in driving a big project in your life and you want to have all the energy, if you want to be a better parent with better moods and be able to control, the moods you're having and that sort of stuff, if you want to feel better, if you want to have better sex drive, there's all kinds of stuff that comes out of having a new relationship with food. And that's what WildFit is all about. So I'm super glad that you had an opportunity to watch this video. I hope I get to meet you in person one day, and I certainly hope that you will accept the WildFit Challenge.
So now I'm going to introduce you to Joe Pinella, who's sitting to my left here. Now, Joe, I want you to tell people what you just told me about the genesis of your teachings, because some people want to know where it all came from. And I know you tell me it's not Qigong, and I'm happy to give you a chance to explain that.
Okay. So, Bob, what I said is that my program, the Healing Movement System, is not one thing. It's not Qigong. It's not Tai Chi. When I developed that program, I was paralyzed, and I had to learn to walk, I had to learn to move again, I had to learn to do certain things, and I needed specific things. The first thing I needed was energy, because my energy was sapped. So I needed oxygen and energy. So I explored a lot of the Oriental arts that I had been involved in, and I took this Tibetan meditation called mingling fire and water. And I used that breathing exercise to start to energize my energy in the body and get my chi back up, because my chi was really down in the ground from the accident, from the medication, from the surgeries. Everything is an assault on the body. So I was really low energy. I had no energy. So that was where I started with the breathing exercises, and I developed and I took again the breathing technique came from a Tibetan practice. After that, I realized that where would the energy get stuck in my body? Well, it was going to get stuck in the joints. It usually doesn't get stuck in the straightaway unless you have an injury. But just in general, your energy gets blocked in the joints where it has to go around turns. So I looked at what the Chinese physical therapy used, and they had a system called Tai Chi Kung, which meant to work with balance. And it was a system to work on all the joints in the body. So I took that whole system into my program. And then I realized that, okay, now we have the oxygen, we have the energy, and we feel good. We opened up all the places where energy gets stuck in the body. What would be the natural progression was to now have the energy move on the acupuncture meridians. And for that, I looked to a program called Ba Qua. And I adopted something called the 8 strands brocade, the Ba Qua. And so the program evolved into 3 different disciplines, so I couldn't call it Qigong or call it Tai Chi. It was healing movements, because everything was put together to heal the human body and make the body heal itself and come back into balance. And then I finished the program with something called Cloudy Hands, which is one of the traditional Tai Chi form exercises. And so we have Tibetan meditation, we have Tai Chi Kung, which is the physical therapy exercises from China, not the Tai Chi form. We had the Ba Qua to move the energy on the acupuncture meridians, and then we put a little bit of Tai Chi form in there in the Cloudy Hands to actually let the energy flow through the whole body. So that whole program works in a sequence. So that's why that program is a healing program. It's an exercise program to a point, but I like to believe it is a healing program more than just a plain exercise program.
So you and I have talked about this in general. We haven't talked about it specifically. And my view of fitness, since I've been exposed with you and since I've been on the search for my own personal health evolution, is that there's the basic level, which is healing, and then the next level is functional, and then the next level above that is performance. So you just talked about healing. Could you address what you can also help people get if they're interested in more
than just healing.
Okay. So that's the analogy that I give for this is that once the body is healed and everything is in good shape, then the machine is now functioning better and it can do any sport better. So I like to think about the body like the motor from a Ferrari. So the motor from a Ferrari is obviously going to be a little bit different than the motor from a Honda or a Chevy or a car like that. So although those cars can drive and go around town, they couldn't get on the racetrack. But now the Ferrari can get on the racetrack because this has this super motor in it. And that's what I think about with the program. The program was developed initially to heal. But what happened was that everything started to come in balance, and every system in the body started to work better to the point where my body now became the Ferrari engine. And it doesn't matter if I want to play golf or if I want to play tennis or if I want to be a jogger, or if I doesn't. Whatever it is that I want to do, I'm going to do it better because I now have a Ferrari engine instead of a smaller motor.
This doesn't quite fit, but I found this quote today, which I'm going to read, and this is from Jerry Rice. Those of you who don't know who Jerry Rice was, he was a receiver for the 49ers during the 49ers heyday and probably the greatest receiver that ever lived. And he said, and I'm going to ask you the question, is this the secret to lifetime health? Today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can accomplish what others can't.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that good?
That's a great quote.
Yeah. Anyway, it seems to me that fits because it follows along with doing something a little bit every day, so you can keep doing that something a little bit every day, which brings us to the whole concept of the course that we've put together, which is the daily routine and people's habits. So I know that you're a big believer in having a daily routine. So why don't you speak to the issue of how to incorporate things into your life that you unconsciously use to improve your health and meet your life, your health and fitness objectives.
Well, Bob, like you already said, you do the program now because you feel better. If you get results every time you do something, then it's easy to keep on doing it. And we have different little mantras in the Qigong world, and one of them is it takes 30 days to build a habit and 3 days to break that habit. So, people start something and then quit right away and say it didn't work. And they start something and say it didn't work. Well, this is a process. This is not a quick fix. This is not like a pill. You're not going to take a pill and get better. This is you know already yourself that you have to do this every day. But what you get every day is one sheet of paper. Let me tell you a little story about one sheet of paper. When I was in the temple and I wanted to learn everything all at once, one of the monks came over to me and he put a sheet of paper on the floor and asked me to stand on that. I stood on the paper and he asked me this question, how much taller do you feel? And I thought, wow, this is a really philosophical question. I'm going to really have to delve into this. And of course, I didn't feel any bigger. So then he took and put a book on the floor and asked me to stand on the book. And I stood on the book. And he said, how much taller? And I said, 2 inches taller. And he opened the book and said, well, that's 365 of these pieces of paper. He said, every time you do this program, you're going to get one sheet of paper. He said, you're not going to feel the difference from one sheet of paper to the next, but you're going to get better and better and better. And all of a sudden, one day, you're going to be able to do things you never could do before, and you're going to do them with ease, and you're going to realize that one sheet of paper is accumulated to that point. That now makes your life easy, makes everything you do simple, and keeps you from getting injured. It's just a beautiful program.
So let's now talk about the combination of your teachings with WildFit, because one of the other things that I learned from you, and I already knew this, it wasn't like this is earth-shattering news, that eating well is really an important part of maintaining weight and feeling good. So why don't you talk about what you feel and how Eric supports your teachings on nutrition?
Well, both of us come from the same school of thought, is that human beings were designed to work one way, but we don't work that way anymore. We were designed to eat one way, and we've lost our way, and we eat a way that's not healthy or in balance with the human body. And it's the same with exercise. We've forgotten how to move. At one time, human beings moved in a functional way. Every move they made was functional, saved their life. And so, again, we have lost our way with how to move. Now, in Qigong, we have a saying, and one of the important sayings is that Qigong is king and nutrition is queen. And what that means is that you can do all the exercise in the world, and that's not enough. And you can do all the dieting and correct eating in the world, but that's not enough. Because it requires both for the human body to be in balance and to be perfectly healthy. So eating correctly and looking at how men evolved and were supposed to eat is the perfect complement for this exercise program that teaches you how to move again in a functional way that heals the body. So with the right fuel and the right movement, there's no question that you're going to get healthy and feel better.
I'm Elena Love.
And I'm Caitlin Louise.
And we're here today to talk to you guys about your food program. Now, you've learned a lot already about your fitness and about what foods not to eat. So our program is really designed to help you know what to eat. We started out as a 100% vegan program, and it's always been low glycemic, which means low sugar. And we've taught people all over the world, from Bali to Florida to New York to Costa Rica, Ecuador. We've just traveled to Europe. We've taught these programs live, and we certify people on how to be chefs. So what we've done now is we've created this as an online course to reach everybody, because this kind of eating is so important. When you start getting rid of things like gluten and grains and sugar and high fructose foods, you need to know what to put in its place. So Caitlin's done a great job of designing the whole online course for you. It's got video lessons, it's got beautiful printable PDF recipe books that look like a professional recipe book with photos of each item.
Yeah, and you also get a shopping list and a meal plan that shows you exactly what to eat, when, and what ingredients to buy. We also give you our favorite recommended brands of ingredients, so you never have to guess which one's which or what you should buy over another ingredient. And it's laid out week by week, so you get a meal plan, shopping list, and recipe book each week.
Right.
And that goes on for 4 whole weeks. And this program you can repeat as many times as you want. You get over 100 recipes in this program, so there's a lot to choose from.
And you get an email every day which has an inspirational quote to keep you going, because when you change your diet, sometimes you need a little more motivation. And there's a lesson attached. So every day you click on your email lesson and it takes you right into our course, and you get maybe something like learning about meditation, or learning about why it's important to go gluten-free, or just learning how to make your own nut milk at home instead of buying boxed milks, how to make your own ketogenic bread. Now, if you're not familiar with ketogenic, what that means is it's very low carbohydrate. So we don't have fruit in our program. We have a lot of vegetables, and we call it flexitarian because it's based on plants. If they want to add in healthy, organic, humanely raised animal products, small percentages, because the ketogenic program promotes moderate protein and high amounts of fat. So you get to eat lots of fat, which is really fun. And let's talk a little bit about the testimonials of what some of the people have experienced.
Definitely. Well, we don't try and focus so much on weight loss, but it definitely is our #1 testimonial of how can I eat such amazing food and be losing weight within a few days. So that's why a lot of people are going keto, but we've made it a program that's sustainable for people to lose the weight and to keep it off. So that's probably our #1 testimonial. Mm-hmm. The other one would be fatigue. So no more fatigue, no more tiredness in the middle of the day, sleeping better, hormone balances, even hormone balances in your 20s. It doesn't matter your age, wherever you're feeling off, it really is like a reset.
Right. And when we created this program, Caitlin and I have actually been doing this program ourselves for years. But when we started doing it, what I noticed immediately for me is, even though I was already eating a super healthy, plant-based, no gluten, no dairy diet and no sugar, when I started eating this way, what I noticed with the higher fat and the lower carbohydrate, that I had energy till it was time to go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. And I would be doing things like reading books instead of watching movies, and not wanting to lay on the couch, but wanting to be in my garage painting my furniture, or starting a new project, or going out dancing. things that in the past I would be too tired at the end of my workday to do, suddenly I just had all this new energy. Waking up with a clear mind, no grogginess, feeling hydrated, feeling mineralized. So all of our foods are designed to help you get all the nutrients and minerals you need. We give you tips and suggestions for if you do experience something that you don't want to experience, like how to, if you get muscle cramps because you don't have enough minerals, like how to remineralize. And so because she and I, between us, have over 30 years of experience, I have 20 and she has 10 of doing this type of food, we have so much information to share with you. And since we've been teaching it, we know what other people need, so we've worked that all into the program.
So if you're on this page right now, if you're watching this video, then you are curious about and maybe even seriously contemplating making a significant transformation in your relationship with food and your experience of health and life and vitality. I am excited about that. My name is Eric Edmeades. I'm the founder of WildFit, and what I want to do right now is give you a preview as to what you can expect over the course of your 3-month WildFit 90 challenge. You can expect change and lasting change, and you can also expect freedom from many of the foods that currently control your eating decisions. How are we going to do that? We do that through a really carefully constructed process. And that carefully constructed process looks like this. Step 1, please don't make any changes between now and the beginning of your program. Please don't. You might be inspired. You've signed up and you've turned over a new leaf, and so now you're going to start eating better. Then you would be using willpower. And I don't want you to use willpower. I want you to use willpower in very short bursts at very specific times in order to create lasting change. If you wear out your willpower now before the program's even begun, that's going to be a problem. So please don't make any changes between now and then. And by the way, when I say don't make any changes, I also mean don't go on any binge fests either. Just keep doing what you're doing until the beginning of the program. And when we get started, you'll completely understand why. You also might be asking yourself, is this program for you? Well, let me ask you, is it? Are you interested in having more energy? Are you interested in sleeping better? Maybe you're curious about increased fertility or sex drive. Maybe you'd like better cognition and faster memory. Maybe you'd like increased productivity. Hey, maybe you don't want to get tired between 2 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Or maybe you've got a longer view. Maybe you don't want to be one of the 1 in 3 people that's going to die from heart disease, or the other 1 in 3 that's going to die from cancer. Maybe you would like to live a long life and you would like to live an incredibly intense quality of life. Maybe you've already thought about your end of life process and you would like it to be beautiful and you would like it to be nice for your family and you don't want it to involve being plugged into tubes and all kinds of medication and surgery. There are any number of reasons for doing this program. This is not, by the way, a weight loss program. It may well be the most effective weight loss program ever created. It's possible. But I will tell you that because it is so effective at weight loss, so many people think it's a weight loss program. Among our clients include entrepreneurs. They include school teachers and taxi drivers and top athletes, people who have weight they'd like to lose, people that have type 2 diabetes they'd like to get better control of, people that are concerned about autoimmune conditions they're dealing with, people that are dealing with all kinds of different injuries and ailments that would like to have optimization, and some people that are fundamentally feeling really good and healthy who simply want to learn more and optimize their experience of life. If you fall into any of those categories, well, you're in the right place and at the right time. So how does it work? It works through a really careful combination of incremental changes. From the very beginning of the program, you will receive daily videos for a period of 2 weeks. Every single day, you will receive a video that has a really interesting combination of education and exercises that will guide you through a careful process that's designed to improve both your psychology and nutrition. When you get to week 2, all the way through week 12, you will find yourself receiving videos on Mondays and Fridays. On Fridays, we will announce some transitions. We call it Freedom Day. It's the day that you're going to take a little bit of a holiday from this or that. You'll decide whether you want to start that holiday over the weekend or whether you want to wait till Monday, because then on Monday, you're going to get a video that reminds you what we're doing that week and gives you all the reasons why. So you'll be really clear. You will also have every single week another video that describes or answers all the common questions that happen in that week. Because for years we've been running this program and collecting all those questions, and finally I went into the studio and recorded answers to them all. So that means every single week you will have a collection of the most common questions from that specific week and the answer to them. Then we're going to get to week 13. And in week 13, you're going to go back to daily videos because week 13 is all about transitioning you into your post WildFit Challenge life, or let's call it Living Wild Fit, so that you can take the transformation you've created in your life and then make sure that it lasts. The next thing you need to know, and this is really, really important, anytime somebody wants to make change in their life, one of the most important things they can do is have community around them that supports that change. It's extremely difficult at times to make change. Like, for example, if somebody smokes and all of their friends smokes, that makes it harder to give up smoking. And so we are going to put you in a private community of people going through the challenge with you. And in that private community, you're going to have coaching support. And that means you're going to have a place where you can share your challenges, your concerns, your breakthroughs, and your questions, and get answers from the community and from our coaching staff. That community is going to become an incredibly valuable resource to you, and it's going to really help you to make sure that you adhere to the program and get the change and the improvements that you're looking for. WildFit is not a diet. The WildFit Challenge is about permanent and effective health transformation.
So Joe, the last time we talked, there were a couple things that we really didn't get to and we really wanted to cover. And I think the most important one of those was the distinction between physically fit and healthfully fit. So can you address that for me, please?
Yeah, this is a common misconception that, I hear it all the time. People think, well, that guy is really physically fit, so he must be healthy. And that does not necessarily have to be the case. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, there are a lot of times when people are physically fit and they do have health issues that are going on all the time. And the kind of exercises that they're doing doesn't address their physical, their health issue, but it can still make them physically fit even without addressing their health issue. So I try to explain to people that, just doing physical exercises, for instance, I don't know of anybody who is in the Olympics who went into the Olympics to be healthy. So the assumption is if you're in the Olympics, you are healthy, but you can be in the Olympics and be a diabetic. You could be in the Olympics and have your thyroid out of balance. You could be in the Olympics and have your blood, pressure or things out of balance. So in other words, there can be things that affect your health that are out of balance even though you're physically fit. The other thing is about physically fit is that, people in the Olympics, why does every team in the Olympics have a doctor right on staff? Because you're going to get injured. That's part and parcel to the physical fitness that goes along with that high level of activity where you're breaking down the body and fixing it, breaking it down and fixing it. Eventually it takes its toll. And that's why, people in the Olympics are usually in their teens or their 20s. By the time you get to their 30s and 40s, these kind of injuries, they just keep on mounting and mounting until you can't perform anymore at that level anymore. So there's a perfect example about being physically fit, where to become that physically fit, you're constantly damaging the body. You're constantly tearing down your muscles and having them build. And every time you do that, these are injuries. These are microscopic injuries that, 20, 30 years later, they turn into arthritis. They turn into bursitis. They turn into tendonitis. They turn into all these injuries that have been cumulative injuries. So you can get away with amazing things for a long time because the body is a miraculous machine, but it's cumulative. You can't get away with it forever. So I say be healthfully fit first, because then you can be really physically fit. And so there's the distinction between being physically fit and healthfully fit. The right kind of exercises will address your health as well as the physical. And the physical exercise may only address the physical and not really pay attention to the health.
So you've been practicing what you teach for a long time. How many people have you met through the years that understood anything about what you're talking about now versus how many that didn't? I'm gathering it's very few.
Absolutely. And it's amazing. I used to do a presentation for one of the HMOs here in town. And I did this exact presentation called "What's the difference between being physically fit and healthfully fit?" And it was to the point it was eerie at one point, because every 6 or 8 weeks when I had this presentation scheduled to happen, one of the extreme joggers or extreme athletes would pass away. and it would be, Jim Fix, the jogger, in his 50s. Another one from New Mexico, again in their 50s. The extreme sports, 43 years old, heart attacks. So every time I had one of these functions scheduled, within the week, I would always have a new story to talk about on someone who it had just happened to. And it was always these people who you would say, that guy's in the triathlon. How did he have a heart attack at 43? That guy is jogging 150 miles. How did he have a heart attack at 56? But these are the kinds of things that happen where you have this illusion of physically fit, being healthy. It doesn't have to be.
So again, how many of the people that you've talked to over the years understood what was required to be healthfully fit?
Well, after I enlighten them and educate
I'm talking about
them,
before.
Before, very, very, very few. Because, you look at someone and you say, wow, that guy is buff, that guy is physically fit, that guy is really healthy. Because we equate physically fit with health, but it's not so. So before I enlighten people, very, 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 very few people realize that.
And so those of you who are out there are thinking about an exercise program. This is not an exercise program that you've ever seen before. This is a moving meditations.
Moving meditation.
That will get you into the healthfully fit state.
Yeah, and the whole concept of physically fit and healthfully fit revolves around the kind of exercise you're doing. Yang exercises, high activity exercises, exercises that keep you in the sympathetic nervous system are not healing exercises. And those are the ones that people usually do to get really physically fit. High activity, high energy exercises, but it's all sympathetic nervous system, and there can't be any healing there. So the system that we use becomes meditative because you're paying close attention to what you're doing. You're doing things very slowly, and that puts you in a different brain wave, which puts you into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the only place that healing can take place. It can't take place when you're running away from the tiger. But when you get into the kind of exercise, and the right kind of exercise should be soft, should be gentle, should be very attentive, no headphones, no distractions. This way you go into that meditative state, and that's where all the healing takes place.
So it's fair to say that there is no healing at the entrance to LA Fitness.
No, you leave that behind in the parking lot.
Exactly. So let's talk about awareness in your body, and how does that awareness sharpen your ability to listen to your body, which becomes your best teacher?
So in Qigong, we say awareness is the first and only step you need to take to change things. Because if you're not aware that something's wrong, how can you change it? How can you fix it? How do you even know that there's something that needs to be addressed? So when you start to become aware of what's going on in your body, for instance, your balance. Everybody thinks because they're standing up, they're balanced. And then we teach them about the balance spots on the body, and all of a sudden they realize that, hey, I've never been in balance. So awareness is the first step before anything can change. If you're not aware that you're out of balance, then how would you fix it? Why would you fix it? You wouldn't even think there was a reason to fix it. So by becoming aware of something, we start to now realize that, hey, something can be fixed here, something can be changed here. See, what we think is our pattern is unconscious. But when we start to become aware that that pattern is out of balance, for instance, then we can start to pay attention when we are in balance. And the more times that we can bring ourselves to that balance by being attentive and paying attention, then that will eventually become your normal posture, your normal way of moving, and that becomes your new compensation pattern, which is totally different.
So I've heard this saying many, many times, and I kind of evolved it into something. You've all heard of death by 1,000 cuts. We're going to call this life by 1,000,000 adjustments, 1,000,000 tiny adjustments. How would you say that?
Well, again, I said before, to get physically fit, you break down muscles, in a lot of these high activity things. Well, you literally are getting 1,000 cuts. I mean, when you pull and stress these tendons and work hard on them, you put microscopic tears in them. Put microscopic tears when you break down muscles. Well, every microscopic tear is an injury. We don't address it as an injury, but it is an injury. And the body addresses it as one, and it needs to heal it as one. So over time, these microscopic cuts, these thousands and thousands of microscopic breakdowns that we have in the body over time, they start to get hard, they start to get brittle, they start to cause arthritis, they start to cause tendonitis, they start to cause all these diseases and changes in the body that we used to associate with getting old. They used to say, well, they're getting old, that's why they can't move. That's why they're stiff. It's not true. You don't have to be stiff. You don't have to move slow as you age. All you have to do is do healing exercises along the way that don't leave you with that accumulation of damage that will at some point in time cause these things, that cause adhesions and brittle tendons and stuff that are going to make you look old and make you move slow.
So just one more point, because I think it's really critical, and that is when people are aging, then they experience pain, the natural tendency is to stop moving. And that's absolutely the wrong thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that is exactly the wrong thing to do, because once you stop moving, then you set your body up for a whole host of conditions that are just anatomical to the human body. You stop moving and muscles atrophy. You stop moving and you get adhesions between the fascia. You stop moving and pretty soon your circulation gets less. You stop moving and your lymphatic fluid motion gets less. In other words, every system in the body works better when it's in motion. I have a little saying that I use called motion is lotion. Motion makes the body react and causes the body to make the things that make moving easier. For instance, if you move your joint in a circle, the body makes synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is the lotion inside that joint. It's the way that energy and nutrients are brought into the joint, and the way breakdown of cells in the joint are removed from the joint. So circulation is really critical. So once you stop moving and you start to favor one arm or favor one leg, pretty soon that becomes a compensation pattern through the adhesions of fascia, through the atrophy of muscles, through the lack of circulation. And then it gets harder and harder and harder to start over again. It's much easier to maintain than to let it drop below a level and try and get back.
But it's possible.
It's always possible, okay? And the thing is that it requires, some effort. If you want to get better than what you've been before, well, then you got to stop doing what you've been doing before, right, and do something new. And I say that, you eat every day, you sleep every day. Those are requirements of the body. Well, movement is also a requirement of the body. So you need to do a little exercise every day.
The right kind.
The right kind of exercise, yeah. You can do the right kind of exercise so you can do the other kind of exercise better.
So in other words, you should learn how to use your system. So if you run and go to the gym, you can go to the gym.
You'll be much better at the gym. And you'll understand a lot more about your body, because you'll understand, what's going to hurt your body and what isn't. You're going to understand that momentum can be your friend or your arch enemy, because you start swinging a kettlebell and it takes you past your range of motion. Of course it's going to hurt you. But if you do some healing exercise and you start to feel and become more aware of your body, then you'll start to be able to exercise in a more intelligent way where you're not going to hurt your body as easily.
So the last point I'm going to talk about is posture. And where I'm going to go with that. But let's just talk about how what you teach helps people's posture and balance, because then I'm going to bring it into my realm, which is golf.
Okay. So balance is critical. And I've said this before that, people think that they're balanced because they're standing up. If you're standing up straight and you're not falling over, you think you're balanced. But if I teach you specific spots on your body to look at and listen to and feel, then you're going to start to understand that, if the weight is on a certain part of your body, for instance, the front of your foot, I can always tell when a person has lower back pain, because I can watch their posture and see them leaning forward. So I know the back muscles have to be engaged all the time. They never get a chance to rest. I see a person whose shoulders are behind their hips, and I know that they have indigestion problems. And I'll say, you ever have any problems eating? They say, oh yeah, I have problems. Well, their stomach muscles are tight all the time to keep them from falling over. So your posture will affect your muscle tone in the body, because your muscles are out of balance. One side is stronger than the other. Your posture will affect your digestion. I just explained that if you lean backwards, your shoulders behind your hips, your stomach muscles can never relax. So when they're trying to digest food, it's supposed to be soft, it's supposed to be flexible, it's supposed to be moving. So balance takes, in Qigong, balance is a word that we use for your balance when you're standing up, for the balance of one organ compared to another, of balance between the right side of your body and the left side of your body, balance in your blood chemistry, balance in your oxygen level, balance. So balance in every single system of the body, there's a balance to it. So how you're balanced affects muscle strength on different sides of the body. And of course, you want to be a better golfer. And so to be a better golfer, you think about how your balance affects your swing. If you're out of balance before you swing, then when you hit the ball, you're going to be out of balance. So if we can teach you how to stay in balance when you initiate your moves and move through balance, from balance, through balance, to balance, then your body, number one, is going to work better. Number two, you're going to be so much more efficient. Your body will fire in a perfect sequence that'll deliver the absolute maximum amount of power at the very instant that the ball is hit, rather than off 2 degrees, off 5 degrees, off 3 degrees. There's always a little bit. But if we condition your body to learn to be in balance when you start, learn to be in balance through the delivery and finish your shot, then your shots will be consistent, and you'll play better golf.
Beautiful. I can only do it.
So the recipes, a question you might be asking is this going to be something I can do? Yes, we've designed it so that it's really basic. A lot of these recipes come from our level 1 training, such as making your own coconut milk, which is super easy in a blender. Really, for a lot of these recipes, you need either a stovetop or a blender, and you can do 90% of the recipes. And if you have a good blender, it's better, but you can really use any blender for most of this. We do a lot of really yummy hot drinks like golden milk and hot chocolates, and they're all stevia sweetened, so you're not putting in coconut sugar or honey or agave or any of those too high glycemic foods. So you get the taste and the comfort of these yummy, delicious foods and the anti-inflammatory effects, which our diet is also designed as a complete anti-inflammatory diet. Or not diet, I don't want to call it a diet, it's a lifestyle, because this is something we've been doing for life. Chopping vegetables, just simple things like that, blending, mixing. We give you your recipe ingredient list.
And a lot of the recipes can be a one-pot meal. So it's not like you're having 5 pans out at once and trying to be this elaborate chef in the kitchen. And a lot of the recipes, the ingredients are easy to find. So we're not making you go out to, specialty markets or something. These are going to be really easy to find ingredients. And we always give alternatives. So every single recipe, if you need an alternative for it, we'll find it.
And the other thing is, Kate is so good at putting shopping lists together that you have links to either Amazon or thrivemarket.com or wherever we buy ours. And you're also going to find out, and people pay me good money for consultations to say, where do you get all your ingredients? So you're going to know our favorite sources of spirulina, our favorite almonds, our favorite cacao, and you'll have a link right to it. So if you've even ever just been wondering where to buy this stuff and how do you get it and which is the best one, because there's 10 options on Amazon, we're going to give you that too. And there's a reason why we choose what we choose. And also our live coaching calls talk about that, and you get to ask questions if you're not clear on something, or send an email. And the other bonus that's really fun is we have a live Facebook group, which is a private group of all our hundreds of students who have taken this over the years. And then you get added into that. So if we're not answering the questions, then your fellow students are answering them, and people love to post photos of the food they've made. And there's a lot of camaraderie about it. People are drooling over each other's recipes and encouraging each other. And someone will ask a question about, like, mine didn't turn out. Someone else will say, well, this is maybe what you need to do. That happened to me. If it's not one of us, it's one of our students. So you actually get a team of hundreds of people doing this along with you.
The average time to make a meal is probably between 30 to 45 minutes, sometimes even 15. Like a smoothie in the morning is you're gonna get into a routine, and it could take you 5 to 10 minutes. And we teach you how to prep ahead of time. So when you get home from a night at work, you either have something waiting for you, or you're able to prep it really fast because you've prepared ahead of time.
And we also encourage you to eat the same thing a couple days in a row. You don't have to, because there's plenty of recipes, but for me, I'm fine eating the same meal 3 days in a row, and they're so healthy and so nutrient-based that you don't have to make a meal every day. Or you could freeze some and then eat it again the next week, because our recipes are very abundant. There's usually plenty left you can take for lunch the next day, or less cooking time. And so it actually can help you come to a healthy weight versus getting super skinny or trying to lose weight. You'll find your own weight balance with it. And you'll never feel deprived. That's the thing we love about it. We even offer little chocolates in there that are sweetened with stevia, so it's not at all, we don't believe in deprivation. That's not what this is about. It's about eating healthy and allowing yourself to have as much fat as you want, and not overeating, but just eating the right amount for you. And you'll find that, and your body will, within a week or two, just find its balance, and you won't be hungry at night anymore, and you won't want to eat late at night, because you're eating a healthy, nourishing diet. And that's why people that have food, I believe that have food addictions, or that are just not balanced with their eating, they're not nourished. So we need to get back to the foundation of nourishing our bodies and our cells by hydrating. We even teach you how to hydrate in the morning, like what to do when you first get up. We have you starting from the second you get up to your last meal, like what you should be doing during the day. We really try and guide you, because when I started, I didn't have that guidance, and I was like, no internet, stabbing in the dark for what I could find out there. And so now it's our mission to teach people how to live. Our company is called Pure Joy Planet, because we believe this food makes you happy and joyful and living a content life. And you will start to notice that. So another part of our program is we encourage you to journal, and that's one of the lessons you get. You get a lesson on journaling, you get a lesson on vision boarding, like creating the life you want on a board. But with the journaling, it's so important, because not only do you want to just write like the highlights of your day, you also want to talk about how you feel.
Right, so it's basically a food journal, and we outline this program so you know exactly what to do when, but the goal is by the end of this that you connect how you feel with what you want to eat. So you really become an intuitive eater instead of, okay, we're giving you this meal, this is how much you should eat. You're going to be able to fine tune it and figure out what works for you, as far as like, is the amount right? Does that make you feel good? Maybe this ingredient isn't for you, or that one works better, or this smoothie is amazing for me all the time, I'm going to do that one. So we really get you to connect with how you're feeling in your body to what you're putting in your mouth.
And that, when I first started way back in 1997 with a raw food diet and a plant-based diet, I was journaling everything. And I was still eating oats. That was the only grain I was still eating, because it was gluten-free. And I one day realized I ate a bowl of oatmeal, and I was really sleepy after about an hour. And I looked back in my food journal, because I had it there, and I said, oh, connection. I think it had to happen a couple times, and I connected the dots, cut out the oats, and then I eliminated that problem. So if there's a food that you eat that makes you sleepy, for some people, even for me, it's sweet potatoes, I don't eat that food. So you're going to find out for your unique body type, because we are all so unique, what's the food that's right for you. Because if I'm sitting there saying to you, olive oil is the best oil ever, and I love it in Brussels sprouts, and I eat that a lot, and you're going to say, well, that gives me gas, and I don't like that, or whatever. We're all unique, and we all, now that we know the 23andMe, we all know we're from different areas of the planet, and that we do have different ways of digesting foods according to different things. And then we've got people out there like Mark Hyman, who are talking about how to really get off the grains, how to eat less protein, how to eat more plants, how to really, clean your diet up, anti-inflammatory, balancing your gut biome. That all comes into play with this course. All the stuff that you guys are learning in this course is going to be included with our program. So it's not just food, it's lifestyle. Our program works so well within this program that you're in. It's really all balanced, mind, body, spirit, the whole thing. And we just really hope you enjoy the program.
What I want you to do now is I want you to close your eyes. I want you to think about where your health and wellness were 5 years ago. January 1, 2014. Where were you? How did you feel? What were you doing? Now open your eyes and take a good hard look at yourself. Where are you now? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? And if you are, then you don't need to listen anymore. If you're not, and you're not motivated to change it, you don't need to listen anymore. But if you're not happy and you are motivated to be different than you are right now, a year from now and a year after that, then please really listen to what I have to say. This program is not designed to give you a quick fix. You will get a quick fix, but it's more designed to make you think about and change your habits so that your habits will subconsciously get you to your health and wellness goals. Imagine being just the way you want to be without needing willpower to get there. That's what this is about. I'm not going to tell you how you get there. That's not important. The answer is, will you get there, and will you be happy when you arrive? We want to make sure that you are aware that it is possible. And what we have to offer is like nothing you've ever seen before. It's not a health, it's not going to the gym, it's not picking up weights, it's not going out and sweating, it's not being disciplined about how many calories you eat. You have a chance to look at yourself and make changes that subconsciously will help you be the way you really want to be if you're not there already. I hope you are. I've gotten there. I've found the way to get there. I'd like you to join me.
The 90-Day Evolution is not an exercise program, but it will make you fit. The 90-Day Evolution is not a diet, but it will make you eat healthier and lose weight. When you emerge on the other side, you're going to have a new attitude on life, a new take on life. You're going to have new things that you're going to want to be able to accomplish in your life. You're going to have tools that you never had before to accomplish things in your health and fitness that you didn't have before. And you are going to have your emotional attachments to doing the things that are right for you and not have to use willpower to get those results. You can become the master of your own universe, and that universe is your body. So I'm going to take you on that journey with me, and if you come along, you're going to reap the benefits. Each of us has our own personal journey that brought us to this collaboration. The stories are much too long and will be shown for free in early January. Please go to balancelifeteam.com to get scheduling alerts, and particularly to hear the awe-inspiring story of Joe Pinella's recovering from being a quadriplegic.